Aloha, everyone.
Aloha. This is Rev Rita and Rev Patrick here for Get Real with the Revs.
And we are from Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai. In case you don't know who we are, we actually founded the Center for Spiritual Living, Kauai, and we are the senior ministers here. And we're here today to talk about
Inspiration.
inspiration.
Are you feeling inspired? I mean, it's a good question to ask, right? Are you
Mhm.
feeling inspired?
So, what does it mean to be inspired?
Mhm.
Our founder, Ernest Holmes, said that being inspired means that we've made contact with that universal spirit, that divine within us. And when we're inspired, or when something inspires us, we feel that we want to do something. We want to create something. We want to be something more. We want to, I know, like sometimes when I watch American Idol,
All right.
some of those little
Or The
clips,
Voice
or The
or
Voice, so some of those little clips that are on YouTube, I'll just get all passionate about it, and it will inspire me and will make me want to do something. So being inspiring is that ability that we all have to inspire others and to inspire ourselves and to create a feeling of just wanting to put more good into the world through our own self and our own talents
and
and
it's funny you
things.
brought that up about the X Factor because I'm a wimp for it. I go and I just go, I end up crying at some point. But what's interesting about it is how they grasp the stories of kind of the underdog and that life was going so horrible for these people. So I always think of it as the desperation that leads to the inspiration. So it's not always are you fired up by watching something that's going great or whatever, but it's the other side of it too, that sometimes it's like, wow, they came out of that to get to there. And if they did it,
I
I
can
can
do
do
it.
it.
Right.
That's inspiration
Right.
for
And
me.
we were just talking about the situation here on the island and in so many places where businesses are closing down and just just very hardships on a lot of people. And that is and another thing is that people are so desolate and upset that we've had a lot of like suicides on our island.
Absolutely.
And for me, I was thinking about it, instead of getting sucked into that morbidity, for me, it encourages me, inspires me to do something more. So it's interesting how inspiration can come from something that is dark. If we can, feel that sense that we can do something, we can contribute something and be inspired to do that.
Right.
So I think that a lot of that is needed today, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, to get real, I mean, I'm sure everyone who's listening, or maybe not everyone, don't want to generalize, but there's not a lot if you looked at your news feeds and you looked at everything that's going on. And Rita, I mean, that's a biggie right now. People's depression and suicide and the hopelessness of not having a job, but that desolate feeling of being alone in a time where everything globally, not just one place, but globally, is feeling you know, somewhat depressing.
Right, and
And
hopeless and
and so
hopeless.
this is an opportunity, especially in what we do as spiritual leaders. You know, our job is to be inspiring. I'm not talking about being not authentic, not saying, oh, everybody, we can,
Well,
yeah,
to encourage people that there's
yes,
more than what we're seeing, and that behind all of it, there is something going on that's calling us to be greater, that's calling us forward. We just did talks this weekend about shining our light, to shine our light, and to assist those that are downtrodden right now. And I think that we all have that responsibility. And if we're not in that place, then we have the responsibility to seek it out,
mm-hmm,
to seek the inspiration out. Now, how do we do that? There's so many opportunities to be inspired. I mean, just the social media that we have access to with inspirational speakers, inspirational meditations, inspirational books to read. I mean, there's so much available, even movies to watch that are inspiring,
absolutely,
that allow us to get that feeling within that we want to create, because we're creative beings. That's what we are. We are creative beings, and when we stifle that down is when we suffer and when we get depressed, or when we turn to things that are not healthy for us, like overeating and drugs and all kinds of things like that. So how are we going to get inspired? That's what I'm asking you today. We're asking,
anyway,
how are we, we seek inspiration, and we also need to be inspirers. So, and if we're not in that position to be inspirers, then we need to seek inspiration so that we can lift ourselves up out of what could be a very morbid time, and is a morbid time, but can also be a time of spiritual growth for all of us, right?
Well, a
So,
good example of that for me is I know in my personality that morbidity is not a very good place for Patrick personally to be in, because I not only in that place, but I can't really assist anyone. And a good example is our center here in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that was doing a wonderful, what we call expanding and growing. And then this hit kind of like a truck, a Mack truck, and stopped it. And there was that moment of global mourning for things that were being lost and continue to be lost on a daily basis, a form of death, as it were. But I know for me, the last maybe 3 weeks or so, and we went away just to clear our minds here on the island. And for me, what changed it all was I started to get excited about not how do I get things to be the same as they were
right.
before, which seems so impossible with not allowing all of our congregation to come here, you know, all of that new stuff. But then when I started thinking, what if we were reconstructing CSL Kauai to be this whole new place that when we did all come back together, and now we're even bigger because we're a global community, people are watching from all over the place, but to really get excited about how can we
Right,
reconstruct
because
our lives, or not just here, but
yeah, everything is being dismantled right now.
right,
And instead of looking at that as something horrible, we got to look for the seed that's underneath all the rubble that
right.
can grow new beautiful plant that is our life, and the life of our planet. And I do believe that that's what's happening now, and that we're all being called to that. So I think if I had to say anything about our message today, it would be to find ways to get inspired if you're not inspired, because it's part of who we are. We are that divine energy, that divine source. And then when we get in contact with that, that allows that more to open up for us, or actually allows it to open up. So if we're not inspired, to find ways to be inspired, and to maybe turn away from the things that don't inspire us, the people that don't inspire us, the situations that don't inspire us. That doesn't mean we don't recognize our feelings and that we don't allow ourselves to mourn, like Patrick was saying. Um, but to just learn and grow and be, and allow ourselves to be those divine, beautiful people we are. And then once we can do that, we can inspire others. And I think it's really important right now. And I just wanted to read a quote by Ernest Holmes. And then if you have anything else to say, Patrick, you can. The highest mental practice is to listen to this inner voice and to declare its presence. That would be the inner voice within us, that is that God self, that source, that divine light within us, to listen to it. The greater a man or woman's consciousness of this indwelling I am, the more fully he will live, or she will live. This will never lead to illusion, but will always lead to reality, and that's reality with a capital R. So what he's saying is, this was Ernest Holmes, is the more we get in touch with that inner light within us, the more that we're going to see things differently, the more that we'll be moving out of the morbidity and into the behind the scenes, what's happening. And there's a lot of wonderful, amazing energy and source behind the scenes that'll carry us through these times and allow us to be inspired and to be an inspiration. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would just leave you with a few questions. I always find that when I ask myself a question, that it motivates me to go deeper or to expand. I think what we're talking about here is expansion of our lives wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in. But the biggest question is, what brings you joy?
Mm-hmm.
What brings you joy? And that's kind of a statement that people are saying, well, right now I can't even think about joy because we have to get through this.
Right.
But I'm inspired enough to say, what brings me joy, not when this is all over, because it's never going to be over in that sense. I mean, what's going to be over? That we'll be able to go back out in public or all of those things, but we're still going to have us. We're
Mm-hmm.
still going to be where we are. So I need to know deep down inside of Patrick, what makes me joy-filled. And it can be anything from watching a sunset to writing a book to whatever it is. But what brings me joy? Watching my cat? Well, then find the joy in that. Because once we do that, then that will inspire and motivate us to move forward. And we will be a bigger gift to our fellow brothers and sisters on this planet, because we will be radiating joy. And then they'll say, well, how do you do that? I just ask myself a simple question. What brings me joy?
And what brings you joy will bring you inspiration.
Absolutely.
And allow you to be inspiring. So we appreciate the discussion today and the opportunity to share with you about ourselves and inspiration. We hope we've been inspiring. So,
and if you're here for the first time, you can always look us up on www.cslkauai.org, and you'll find out all the fun stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, we live stream every Sunday, and we do give inspirational talks. So
we do. We've been told. We've been told. A little humor too never hurt anybody.
You might find something for yourself tuning in. And if you go to our website and click on the YouTube archive, you'll see so many things that we have that are inspiring. So we love you, and I'm going to just do a little closing treatment centering for us as we go on our way.
Thank you.
And then we will sign off. So if you want to take a deep breath with us, this is our form of what we call affirmative prayer, and we just affirm the truth, the reality of really, truly who we all are, which is recognizing that there's only one thing happening at all times, and that is the presence, the power of source that moves through all of creation, that divine light, that divine energy that is, it can never be stopped by anything. It's flowing within me, within Patrick, and within each and every person listening here and beyond and out into the universe. It is the creative force of the universe, and it is what leads and directs and guides our path. So I know right here and right now that there is an opening, a light that is just becoming larger and larger in each and every one of us, inspiring us and moving us into a greater mentality, a greater state of mind, a greater spiritual experience as we encounter everything that we're encountering, that we meet it from that place. So I know all is well, and that peace is and love is, and that divine energy can never let us down. It is always here for us to turn to, that place within, that great reality within each of us. So I know this is the truth, and I speak my word with just conviction, knowing that it is the truth, and giving gratitude in advance for its manifestation in each and every life. And I just release my word with that gratitude as law into law, knowing that it is complete, that it is done, and unfolds perfectly for each and every one of us, as I affirm, and you can affirm with me.
And so it is.
And so we know something about you.
Yes, that no matter what is going on in the world around you, there is one thing that is guaranteed, and that is you are magnificent.
Aloha.
Aloha.
See you next time.